Alrighty, well, hello and welcome. Um, so we're just gonna see if I can get a video working with commentary and in-game sound. Mostly I'm just gonna try and show you the setup. Maybe we'll get into actually popping down to the planet with the very startup of the colony. Mostly this video is going to be me figuring out making the video work and getting it online so that you guys can actually watch. So this is RimWorld. It's not really too much to look at from the menu. It is a colony simulator by Tynan Sylvester, and it's actually a really good description because this basically is a studio of one person. Every now and then he's contracted a couple things out. I think he talked about how he had to go get a studio or something for sound. So he had to like contract someone into making all the noise and music and stuff like that, but a lot of the art, well, the vast majority of the art and all of the coding has been done by him himself, and funded a lot of it through Kickstarter. I think the game's been around for about 4 years now in various iterations. So it's still in alpha, still on Steam. If you guys want to go get it yourself, go check the early access with it. Definitely a win for a game. Just a quick look for you guys. A big thing about this game is that it is quite moddable. So I do have quite a few mods here. Most of these titles probably won't mean much to any of you, but if you were to get into the game and you wanted to see some of these are the ones that I have in. I do have some turned off. Some of them are not updated to work with the most recent game mode. Having said that, I have added a bunch recently, some new ones, some different patches, so hopefully the game stays stable, but we'll see what happens with that. If there's definitely a game crashing bug, that will suck, but there are different ways of sometimes backing up and such, so we'll see if we can't get something figured out that way. So, because I have the scenario and people made, it's actually pretty simple for me to go through this. Normally there's just Crash Landed, Last Traub, and the Explorer. Because of mods, I have a chunk more. And then there is, of course, the custom one that I made for us. Now, most of this actually isn't going to be used by us. This is actually a way to start out up with random characters like you're supposed to. However, for the shits and giggles, I have made our landing crew each of us in the group for the last little bit. Of course, there might be some people in the Facebook group that are not included into this. Probably when this colony crashes and burns, if you're interested, we talk fairly regularly. Tell me, I'll drop a character, and we might try out some different things or try some different things. As it is, I think the agreement was to try and push for the kind of mad scientist, crazy laboratory. This part is choosing the storyteller. So the way the game kind of works is you do have a colony, and then the computer acts as a storyteller by throwing different events at you to try and get different reactions, to try and push a drama in a certain way. The top 3 here are the ones that Tynan Sylvester has actually made for the game, but there are mods that have added in different ones. I haven't really tried these. They sound, from the descriptions that I've read about them, a little bit more for experienced players and late game stuff and pushing yourself a little bit. So I'm going to leave them alone for now. They just came in packs with other mods that I have in that I do have activated into the game. The main 3 are Cassandra Classic, Phoebe Chillax, and Randy Random. Cassandra Classic is basically just like a fairly regular scaling kind of deal. It progressively gets harder, and it doesn't actually cap out. So if you take Cassandra Classic, you are kind of shooting for actually beating the game, because she will just keep on getting harder and harder, and eventually your colony will be destroyed. So we're actually going to avoid her, just because I am pretty noobish still, even though I've played a couple different colonies. However, I don't think we're going to take Phoebe Chillax either. There's a lot of time between the different events that strike the colony, which makes it kind of easy. late game and stuff, she's still hammering you with some pretty heavy events, but it gives you more time to recover, basically. So I thought about going with her, but I don't want to be bored. Don't want you guys to be bored. So instead, we're going to go with Randy Random. He is actually one of the best ones for longer games, apparently, because he's completely random. It's not like he's constantly scaling in difficulty. The difficulty is constantly kind of squiggling around. Because this game is actually fairly hard, I'm going to be keeping it on just some challenge. Peaceful is just basically sandbox mode, or really easy. No, sorry. Peaceful is sandbox mode. Base builder is tiny little things. So we're going to go with some challenge, just to actually keep it interesting. Alright, so this is creating a world. If I don't create the world in this video, I'll maybe like leave it up to you guys to decide what the seed will be. Seed is basically like there's a randomized generator for how the planets are created, and you type something in. So you can type really anything into this, and somehow I think through like numbers or something attached with different letters, it produces a randomized world. So you could even type in something like "choke me daddy," and we can use that as a seed. But we'll just use testing. We'll go with a 50% planet, so you can actually make an entire globe with 100%. That would be like the only like time I could see really wanting that is if you were like some crazy ass really good guy at this game, or gal, and you were going for the full nomadic existence. We are not. So I'm going to put it at 50 because 50 actually provides us with a good chunk of the planet to actually select from. So we're going to have different factions and stuff thrown all over the place, and I want to be able to actually like kind of center us in with some spots so that we could maybe trade with some friendly people while still being able to fight bad people. Rainfall and temperature I'm going to keep as is, but like, I mean, if you wanted to, you can make your planet basically an ice planet, or like all tropical jungles, or really desert, stuff like that. But we're just going to leave that as regular, and we're going to then generate the world. This will take a little bit sometimes. My computer is not super amazing at the moment. Need to get the, well, still rather old graphic card slapped into it, but luckily for this game, graphics aren't really the demand, it's more processing power. There's a lot of interactions and environmental factors that you sometimes don't really see so much, but they do have a large effect on characters and how the game works. Sometimes with some of them you can turn them on and off. Alright, so here's our planet that we got for checking out. As you can see, it's a 50% coverage of the globe. It's a cut-off line there. If you're crazy or extremely good, yes, you can start up on sea ice or ice pack and stuff like that, but it's ludicrously hard. I cannot do that. I'm not even gonna bother trying. I'm still trying to get good enough to get a colony going for a decent amount of time in temperate forest regions, which is probably what we're gonna aim for. But who knows? If, like I said, I'm feeling more and more like I'm not gonna start the map. We're maybe gonna put up some polls, and we're gonna let you guys kind of pick. But I'm just warning you, like the harder you make it for me, the more likely it's going to fail abysmally, and we'll have to start over. Whoops! I did not want to do that. Let's try that again. I wanted to go back. This is the other. We'll just randomize it. This is why, like, I mean, this is like my first video of recording of any length. I did have, like, a year ago I made one for Eve to try and show you guys what I was doing in Eve at that point, but I couldn't get it to work. I seem to be getting this to work, but as you can see, I'm still kind of noob in actually making videos and figuring out what I should be doing. Hopefully later on I'll even be able to start editing so that if I do fudge up like this, I can quickly just edit it out. But for now, this will all be in there. Awkward load screens with awkward Kyle. Alright, so new planet. So back to where I should have been talking about. So we got a planet. There's a lot of symbols on there. Most of these are not vanilla game symbols. Vanilla game symbols are the house, I think these skull and crossbones, and then the TPs here, with the houses being spacer factions, pirates, and tribal natives, respectively. Because of mods, I've dumped in a lot more. I've got like medieval time mods, so that there are some basically medieval factions instead of just primitive tribals with like stone spears. Like we're talking like cave people tribal. We've got, you know, more advanced medieval. The different hoof prints and paw prints are different beast tribes from the beast tribes mod. I think there is something like 8 or more different types of animals, from bears, wolves, lynx, stuff like that, where basically they just slapped the animal head on people and made a tribe. It's kind of cool. They do have some like different characteristics that like certain animals are more prone to have and stuff, but we'll see what happens in game if we get any of those around us. I do have some other ones, like there is the agency, there are fishing villages from the Call of Cthulhu mods, which are great mods. There are some just randomly player made factions, like some people just for hobbies have made some. So I've got these, I believe they're called, oh, what are they? We can look at that. There's all the factions are in here. Some of them have kind of funny names. They show whether they're hostile to us and such, and how much. But I have like a whole button what their relations are to each other, like Elkman tribe, Pigman tribe, Raccoon tribes. But I believe they're called Ferals. This is a medieval war band, Wolfman tribe, Feral clan. That's it. So just a bunch of different stuff. So like most of the tribes are like, and beast people stuff are fairly tribal, whereas I do have some more advanced factions that actually have guns and stuff. There's some weird Lovecraftian stuff in with the Call of Cthulhu. So hopefully we should have quite a smattering of everything. I do want to pick an area so that we have a little bit of a selection of things, so it's not just like in here probably wouldn't be good. These are all medieval factions, so that'd all be most of what we'd be experiencing. I want to get like at least one beast tribe around us. So let's, as I said, we want to be in a temperate forest. Temperate forests are like basically beginner starter kind of area. A lot of times you have a year-long growing season. Weather isn't too extreme. You got lots of animals and a fairly wide diversity, so that you have lots of different opportunity for taming and hunting. So for the beginning, anyways, we'll try. I want to try and keep it simple, but like I said, I'm going to leave some of this up to you. I will show you some other areas too. So something like a temperate forest. Probably go into the mountainous areas. You can start off on like open plains or hills and such, but I do like the mountains because they kind of give you, in a lot of cases, ready-made walls and little like areas you can fortify off for defensive reasons. So we'll probably, and it gives you access to lots of stone, which is nice for building, especially if you end up getting a pyromaniac in your colony later on. Fires are a real problem when you have wood. I do have some other options with some mods for ways to handle things like that, but we'll see what we get to with the different mods. Sometimes mods are bad in that like you're reaching for so many things in different mods, you end up like screwing your colony over. But we want probably like at least 40 days of a growing season. I think the years are 60 days long, so that would give us 2/3 of a year with actual growing. If we get things rolling with hydroponics nicely, like that's not such a concern, but hydroponics haven't been easy for me to get to and get working very well. I found I end up with problems. The darker green areas next, so this color is temperate forest, all that kind of color. The darker green here is tropical rainforest. These are probably like a step up in difficulty from the regular temperate forest. It adds a lot bigger chances of stuff like malaria, more aggressive animals. Terrain gets a little bit more interesting with like water and like muddy areas, making it harder to farm and such, so you have to like spend more time building it. There's arid shrubland. I've never actually been there, but think like, I don't know, not the Badlands, but like, you know, kind of almost desert. There are also deserts. And if you go to certain colors, is this one? No, that's just a regular desert. That's tundra. Extreme desert. There you are. So there is like Sahara if you want to get into there. There's also just like more of a regular desert, which is still like harder difficulty. Like it would probably take a while for me to get, I would say, comfortable doing that. What I often like to try, but I've always seemed to fail, is boreal forest. The main reason being you have a really short growing season, but I like the look of the trees, and a lot of the animals are pretty sick, and there is a good chunk of hunting opportunities in those areas. I'd be interested in trying tundra, but I think the main difficulty is like super short growing season and not a whole lot of animals. So I have heard that there are fishing mods that you can take, and that makes living in a tundra a little bit more acceptable, but still difficult. Islands would be interesting for defensibility, but like it's also kind of boring because it makes it, I guess, really difficult. I guess you can find ways of getting across water. I don't know if caravans can just do that or whether you need mods. I thought you needed mods, which makes islands a little bit more difficult. But there are mods that you can get for building like shuttles and stuff, so you can move around the world map eventually. Most of probably what I'll be showing you guys will not be doing that. So, yeah, I'm probably going to leave her right around here. I'll be playing on a larger map to try and give us more room to build. I could show you some of the actual on-world terrain, but then I feel like you know, might as well give you guys some choice in this. So tell me what you think. Like, do we want to be stuck around a lot of medieval people? I am keeping us at a spacer level tech so that we can build guns, armor. I've got a surprise in the one mod for Vern that way. I think that he's really gonna like. But do we want to be more around beast people tribes? Because I mean, we will be building our colony. We will need to recruit people, and the people that we are more likely to recruit are going to be coming from areas close to us. So I mean, we can get creepy fishermen from like H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff, or we could get different type of beastmen. If you're wondering about what kind of beastmen we could have in the surrounding areas for us, I can look up quick. Or no, I can't. Not with the way I'm streaming right now. But I can put like a bunch of different options in the poll if you're really interested in beast people. There's fox, there's wolves, there's bears, lynx, gazelles, elk, moose, elephants, lots of different options. Conversely, we can try and settle in a very aggressive area with a lot of bad neighbors, and that'll give us more access to people to experiment on, to harvest organs, evil crap. But yeah, we're gonna try and leave her there, and I'm gonna see if I can't get this cranked into a video for you guys to be able to watch.